Hi, this is Ron Nutter and welcome to another edition of TechBytes with Ron Nutter product reviews. Today we're looking at the RMT-TX100U Universal Remote Control for the Sony TVs and 3 things you need to know. Now, I seem to always hit the remote that's going to, you need an engineering degree to set it up. Well, with this one, thing number 1, there is no setup needed. At least with my TV, I put the batteries in, which, by the way, it doesn't come with batteries, so have a couple of AAAs standing by. Just plug it in, and it should come right up and running. Now, thing number 2, it's always handy to have a secondary remote because this is a troubleshooting tool to identify if you've got a remote or a battery issue, or with my luck, both. But it's always handy, and that way you can get into remote battles of, well, I want this channel, no, I want this channel, and it's handy to have. Now, depending on your TV, there will be some buttons on the remote that are not supported on the TV, which in that case, you shouldn't see any indication on the TV of anything going on. Now, thing number 3, like I mentioned earlier, this uses 2 AAAs. Now, I'm doing some testing right now, but depending on how much you use the remote, you could get several months or more without having to change batteries. Because I've got a streaming receiver attached to mine, and the streaming receiver can turn on the TV, so I only need the remote from the TV or for the TV to be able to change HDMI ports. But other than that, this is a handy thing to have. And especially if you've got more than one Sony, you might just have a universal remote on your hands that should work across several TVs. So give this one a look. I think if you give it a try, it's going to be handy to have. You may not need it that often, but if you get into the couch surfing where you're trying to find the remote and you can't lay your hands on it, it's always handy to have a second one. So think about getting one today and adding it to your smart home.